Hi everyone, so this is the third episode of How We're Building Flamingo. In this episode, we're going to talk about specifically the product management aspects and more specifically the roadmap management and how we track the work of our team and how we report it back to our users. I'm going to start with presenting the overall operating system that we built. So it has 5 different components. Each one, you can think of that as like an agent or a function in the company. We talked in the previous episode about the marketing, a few aspects of it. We didn't cover everything. Today, we're going to talk about Product Hub. So in order to kind of figure out what we're trying to build with the product management aspects of this dashboard, we need to understand that we talked a lot about a kind of single sources of truth and single databases, etc. Some things cannot have unified databases. They can have single sources of truth, but in order to kind of replicate and use the data in multiple places, we will need to have mirroring and syncing processes. And that's kind of what we have here. So we have a bunch of jobs. For example, we have one job that is syncing users from our Google Workspace. And if we'll go back here, you will see that all of our users are on our website. So this is being pulled from Google Workspace automatically and then appears on our website. But even more extensively, we use ClickUp for our project management. And ClickUp is a bit more extensive part of our tools and our internal ops. So we have multiple jobs in order to pull data from ClickUp. So we have the main mirror, we have the bootstrap, we have reconciliation, and we also have back and forth. We'll talk about the roadmap in a second. It's not only us reading from ClickUp, it's also us writing into ClickUp and then doing a bunch of stuff with it. So what do we sync from ClickUp? It's mostly the tasks and the roadmap. So if we'll go to ClickUp here, you'll see that we have multiple boards. All of them exist here. So we have board for each department, but we also have a customized board for the roadmap. And the roadmap that you see here, if we'll go in, you will see that we have upvotes and downvotes. We'll talk in a second about it, but we also have icon. And sometimes, not on this one, actually, let's go to here. We will also have a Figma link. And this is being synced into our database. And then if we'll go to the website, we'll have multiple syncing processes. The first one is the development roadmap. And I think it's kind of a good time to stop and talk about why we decided to have our roadmap publicly on our website. We're building a platform, meaning that OpenFrame is a platform play, and it's not only a platform play, it's a platform play that does not target Fortune 500 companies, and our deal sizes are not 6 and 7-figure deals. We cover many functionalities in the product, and we need to report on those functionalities that we add to the product in a scalable manner, meaning that we cannot have one-on-one calls, webinars in order to report about new things that were added to the product. We have to do it on massive scale, and we also need to report what's going to be out, because a lot of times when you build a business that is targeting large enterprises, you basically build your roadmap on whatever those customers are asking you to. We cannot do that. We have to do it on a very large scale and in a unified manner, and that's why we have the development roadmap. But not only that, we also have enhancements and bug fixes. So if we have small things that users are asking for us, we also track them across the entire ClickUp space that I showed before, and we have multiple types. So any request or bug will be synced into here and then be shown to the user. We also build processes that can tag a ticket. So we use HubSpot help desk, so we can add a ClickUp task ID. And once we do that, once the task is being published to production, we automatically auto-notify the user that this task has been finished and his ticket is being auto-closed in order to kind of figure out how it exactly works. So you see here that we have upvotes and downvotes for each of the roadmap items. Sometimes we also have some screenshots of what's going to be published. Sometimes we even have Figma prototype that users can use. And if you click upvote, what would happen behind the scene is that we built a sync process to ClickUp that is running every minute. And we have outbox processes that once something is being reported here, it's not automatically being pushed to ClickUp because then we will exhaust our API rate limits. So we write it into a queue, and every 1 minute we kind of drain this queue and push it to ClickUp. And that's kind of relevant for everything that you see here, also for this. And I think that the most interesting point here is the way we manage product releases. So our product is open source, so we have a pretty easy way to show users that we publish stuff, but they don't know what's there, meaning that we create a GitHub release, but they don't really know what's inside this release and which bug fixes and everything is being pushed there. And that's why our version release processes are tightly integrated into our ClickUp and to the different objects that I just showed you, either if it's roadmap items or enhancements and bug fixes. If we'll go here to releases, you'll see that we already have a bunch of releases, and our releases are here. So each of those, that's a release. Now, what happens is once we create a release, we have a custom status on ClickUp called for review. And once something is for review, I know as the current product manager that this needs to be reported back to our users. So it hasn't been announced yet. And what we do is that we use AI in order to generate the raw materials for the product release. So as you see here, we have here ClickUp roadmap tasks. So I just go to ClickUp and copy all the roadmap tasks that are associated with this release. Then also delivery, bug fixes and enhancements. So you see there's a bunch of them here. And that's the only stuff that are required. Also the server, and that's like just the version. And all the rest is being created automatically with AI. You can also see that it says here AI required. So only those things are required to us once we release the version. And then we'll scroll down and we'll see here release content generation. We can add some free text and then generate content. And once we do that, the release summary, the video summary, everything that you see here will automatically get created. Also, by the way, also these items that you see here, those are changelog, features added, bug fixes, improvements, etc. So it's all auto-filled. What I'm doing most of the time is that I'm letting the AI build it, and then I record the video because it's just easier for me to see what I need to cover. Can also add here different static screenshots, and if we'll scroll down, there's also the open graph, the OG for that. And if we'll go here, this is how it looks like on the website. We'll touch in a second about the video because it's quite cool and we'll spend more time on it. But you see here that we have all the roadmap items, we have all the related enhancements and bug fixes. And if we'll scroll down, we're even going to see the GitHub release that is associated with the open source tool that we have. So this is kind of it on how we release those things. Also, imagine that the way it works is that because it's so tightly integrated into both ClickUp and HubSpot, once something is getting published into production, and let's say that's not a bug, okay? Someone has asked something on a ticket on HubSpot, and that's not a bug. He asked for extensive support in another operating system or something similar. Once this software version is getting released, he will get an email saying, listen, your improvement has been deployed to production and you can check it out. We also have ways to repurpose it. But what I also wanted to show here is that once this raw video is getting deployed here, this one, once this is getting deployed, we have automated processes to repurpose this video. The first thing that we have is video clips. We work with an API called Wizard AI. We have a few options that you can see here. So you can choose if it's portrait, square, landscape. You can customize the template ID. And once you're going to hit here, those video bytes are going to be generated automatically. And then we can use them for ads. We can use them for different repurposes. Like we can send them on LinkedIn, on our Slack community, etc. And we also have highlights. So you can define here what the highlights that you want to do, like what's the length of the highlight, and if you want to have subtitles as part of it or no. And once you're going to hit regenerate highlight, what will happen is that Claude will take the transcript of the video that was created. And we also have an agent that is doing the transcript. This is also automatically, you see here, transcribed and summarized. We use, I think it's ElevenLabs. So once you're going to hit regenerate, all those fields are going to be filled up. Also subtitles for this video subtitles were not created. And once that happens, Claude will take this transcript, and there is like a lot of cool stuff that ElevenLabs can do. They can tell you when someone is stopping or when there is a pause or things like that are the right moment to cut the video. It's actually a process that we built. We worked with Claude in order to pick and choose the best scenes out of the video. And then we use ShotStack IO in order to edit those videos. And then we create this highlights video. We also have a unified component. So you see here, you have full video and highlights. We use this component of video generation across the entire product. So if we'll go to case studies for some of them, here it's not exist, but for some of them, you're also going to see video bites at the bottom. This is kind of it when it comes to product management in terms of the product hub. I think like we have a bunch of other things to do here. We're going to, on the next episode, we're going to show how we take customer interviews and analyze them in order to figure out what still needed to be added in the product, and how we create case studies directly from interviews, how we track deployments, how we run documentation, which is quite interesting. We don't have a technical writer. It's all AI driven with GitHub Actions. But I think that for now, that's pretty much it. And thank you guys for bearing with us and learning about how we built the company. We keep on iterating more and more, and we keep on adding more stuff. For example, since we started this podcast, we added another dashboard for People Hub, aggregates performance reviews, aggregates a lot of data that is interesting for us to see what people are spending their time on and how they're going to reach their KPIs. But for now, I think that's pretty much it. So stay tuned and register and subscribe to our Spotify podcast. And if you're an MSP, join our open MSP Slack community. So thank you so much, guys. Bear with us.